Hey there, it's Drutter. August 5th, 2026. How's it going? It's been a little while, actually. Haven't done a YouTube video in a few months anyway. I took an unexpected digital detox. So while I put out a few coins here, just wanted to talk about that before I get started on my other topic. It was an interesting few months. I haven't taken that much time off the internet since it came about in the mid-90s. I adopted that fairly quickly into my life, internet, and been using it ever since. But I'm still not smart. I have never used a smart device, never owned a smart device, and I said that on this channel. I will never be smart. I said that, did a video a long time ago. And yeah, I've stuck to that. No smart devices, not even allowed in my house. We don't have any smart devices here. We don't use Wi-Fi. It's just a landline for the phone. And for internet, I have my PC. But yeah, that gets me into the next story. I've even ditched Bill Gates recently. I don't have any Microsoft programs anymore, including Windows. So that was a learning curve for me because I've always used that. So I'm on Linux now. I never thought I would be, but that's me now. I'm on Linux. And I would recommend it. But anyway, yeah, that's what started the digital detox. The accidental digital detox. It felt good. I mean, yeah, it did feel good, but there are some pros and cons, obviously, to that lifestyle. But I think eventually we will all be off the internet, or at least anybody like me will not be allowed on the internet anymore. And I can see the signs of that coming fairly soon, actually. Sooner rather than later. You don't want people on the internet that aren't authorized voices and so on. Yeah, and the flow of information and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is about copper. I'm just explaining where I disappeared to, because when I first installed Linux, I had a computer problem. I don't know what happened, but it just would not start again. That was it. So that computer has been put aside. I tried everything. I had to set it aside. And I'm going to figure that out some other day. So eventually just went and bought a different one. So I have a new to me PC, and Linux is on there. It's working nicely. So still not smart, and I'm no longer on Microsoft or any of Bill Gates's programs, software. So that's nice. And I will get back into the gold and silver content more regularly soon. But in the meantime, I just want to get warmed back up, I guess. So I haven't done a video in so long, and just wanted to see if I could actually do it on this machine. So if you're seeing this, I guess it's working. And yeah. I want to talk a little bit about copper, though, today. It's another metal that we have talked about on this channel for, the past entire 17 years of this channel. So let's get on with a copper chart. Yeah, copper, all-time high today, just now, in fact. Right now. It's still making, as we speak, pushing a little higher. Moving towards $7. And above $6 has been kind of interesting and unprecedented lately, because copper was always $2 and such when I was talking about it. I started in 2009, I guess, but I was really heavily talking about copper in 2012 to 13, 14, and 15, all the way through all those years. I was advocating for copper and talking about copper bullion and copper stacking and copper porn even, just really getting into the whole copper thing. And a lot of my subscribers did too. So I assume that some people are still interested in copper and perhaps still holding some copper, which would be great, because you may have realized a 2 or 3 or even more times gain in the past couple of years. And definitely since 2009, it's gone up. What was it? It was like just over $1 then, so it's almost $7 now, so that's pretty crazy. But if you were holding since, say, 2015 or so, it was $2 then, so yeah, more than 3 times. That's pretty good. And although there's things that have done better, you could have been holding Bitcoin, I suppose. But hey, copper bullion is a pretty nice and safe thing to be holding. And you can do it just by grabbing some pennies or other coins and stuff. Some people have stacks of it hidden away. And I think they're probably feeling happy about that now. And it's good to have some real money in hand. It may not be gold, but it's real, and we can get a hold of it. And we can actually hold it and use it ourselves. And it has other intrinsic value as well, too. Copper is all kinds of useful. In fact, that's probably why it's going up so much right now, is because it's so useful. And it's being put into so many things right now in emerging industries and so on. So copper, I think, is only going to continue going upward. And there was a theft in the area recently. I'm in the Skeena region, it's northwestern British Columbia, Canada, just up by Alaska, the panhandle that comes down, right? I'm just right by there. And we only kind of have one power cord that kind of connects the whole region. I'm not sure how that works, but the whole region's on one power cord, and every so often somebody steals it. So whenever copper goes up, we get a power outage, and that's what happened a few days ago. In fact, it was like the power went out, but then the power came back on, but then it was the phone and internet and mobile and stuff. I don't have mobile, obviously, but still, phone and internet were down. We had no communication here at the house for the whole day, because somebody decided to chop the lines and steal a bunch of copper and run off with it. So that's just a sign of what's going on. The copper's going up, and that there's a bunch of it out there, and people will be trying to steal it as it gets more and more valuable. So anyways, this chart, don't need to talk too much about it. It is on a tear since 2024. It's an overall bullish trend, obviously, through the years. That's probably tracking inflation more than anything else. But there is an obvious trend since 2024. And I guess that may be the AI and data centers and all that kind of stuff trend that's happening. And obviously that's going to continue. Unfortunately, it's not my thing, but I think that is going to continue. So that copper will continue to go up. And that's really all I want to say about it for now. Can't forget the Coinflation website. I'll put a link to them down below. They've been doing it since before I even showed up in 2009. They've been calculating the price, the melt value of each coin in Canada, the US, and a few other countries as well. So check out their website. I'll link to it below if you haven't already seen it. But some highlights here, and this is yesterday's prices, so it's gone up since then. But the pennies from 1942 to 1979 in Canada are worth 6.3 cents each. That's just the melt value. And then from 1980 to 96, they're worth 5 cents each. And then even the zinc pennies that a lot of people didn't even bother collecting or whatever, zinc and copper have gone up, and there's a little bit of copper in those ones too, just a plating of it. But anyway, those ones are even worth 1.25 cents each now, melt value. So that just shows you what's happening. Inflation is eroding the value of a cent or of a dollar, and the copper is still there. The copper is still worth just as much as it was, but cents and dollars are not worth as much as they were. And nickels, it's interesting to note that the nickels that have a lot of copper in them, which is from 1982 to 1999, are worth almost as much as the pure nickels. So the ones that are only a little bit of nickel are just about as much as the ones that are all nickel, because copper is worth so much. Copper's almost worth as much as nickel now. So all those old pennies that we always used to have and think of as garbage, and all those nickels that we used to think of as worth something, it's kind of like those pennies and nickels nowadays are worth almost the same amount. Interesting. You can check out some of my previous videos on copper, like Rest in Peace Canadian Penny, Victim of Inflation, How to Clean Copper Items, Why Every Copper Penny is Now Worth at Least 5 cents, and one of my favorites, copper porn. So those are some of my videos that actually, some of those are like my most watched videos of any of my videos. I've got hundreds of thousands of views on some of those. So that's kind of cool that people like copper that much. Anyway, I will be talking to you guys about copper and precious metals and other topics soon. So stay tuned to the Dreader channel. Nice talking to you guys.